Welcome to my world, bitch.
Welcome to the 179th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast.
So conspiratorially paranormal.
Yes. My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me, as always, is
Oscar Spector,
producer extraordinaire and podcast co-host. Oscar, how have you been over the last month, my brother?
My bro. I almost called you my sister, but I got that wrong. Let's see. Over the last month, well, I just got back about almost exactly a week ago today. I just came back from a 10-day trip to Mexico. I went to see family.
Mexico?
Yes.
What part of Mexico were you in?
The old country is what that would be, right?
The old country. We would refer to that as the old country.
Right? When Italians and in movies, they say like, oh, we're going back to the old country. That means going to Italy, right?
That's right.
That's what I did. I went back to the old country and visited my mom's side of the family, mainly, it should be said. My dad's side lives in a different state. And it was the state of Durango, and we stayed in Durango City. And I visited the mountains, had a great time at a huge cabin there for probably a lot less expensive than it would be here. Huge cabin stay there. Went to see a smaller town where my mom grew up, where I used to go there as a kid.
Wow.
On trips, and I haven't been there in so long. It looks exactly the same, believe it or not. I had with a marker and probably like a knife, have carved my initials or things into one of the parks that's nearby. It was still there.
You little fucking vandal.
Yeah.
How long ago? I love it.
I was a kid, so 30 years, 25 years?
Way.
I don't know. So long ago.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty.
It's still there.
It was a trip. It was pretty trip. Yeah, it was a trip because I'm like, now I'm like, it's crazy. I've done cocaine. I've done a lot more since then. That's why I told myself that. I'm like, I've done a lot more since last time I was here.
Pre-cocaine Oscar.
Pre-cocaine Oscar, right?
Love that.
Had that thought. I visited like my second cousins, like around almost my age exactly. And I haven't talked to them in forever. We used to hang out all the time. That was a trip too, because like one of them has a kid that's like graduating high school. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with that? You know.
What are you doing with that?
What are you doing with that? You know, it was a fun trip, even though it was like I had no me time really because I was just surrounded by so many people and so many events that. But it was still fun, a lot of fun. We did a lot of things. I don't know what's interesting.
Anything of the paranormal sort?
No. Not that I saw. I didn't like mine people for information. I did get some ideas for something for the show.
Oh.
From there. As a matter of fact, before you hijacked today's topic, I had a whole Mexico Legends idea for an episode. That was going to be the episode.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
I had a few, like a select number that I was going to do and get into. But now you'll never hear it, folks, because Jay had to do this episode. Had to do 28 pages. Just had to do it.
28 pages. It's one of those things again that's timely. It's happening now.
Yeah.
So we had to cover it.
Yeah.
I apologize.
For me, like, not that I ranked everything, but I'll tell you two things real quick. One of them was that we went up to the mountains, right, and went to this cabin. A lot of great walking space. A lot of you could see off a cliff down thousands of feet, that kind of thing. Wow. It was a lot of fun. And while we were there, I was with my younger cousins. I have younger cousins that are like in their late teens. Mid-20s is the highest. Like, I'm pretty much older, but like not older than their parents, so like in between. So we all did hide and seek at night. And I don't know if you know about forests or mountains at night, but it's pitch fucking black out there.
Oh, man.
It was a lot of fun. We were bawling. We were having a lot of fun. Surprisingly, no one got hurt.
No one fell off that.
No coyote came to find us in the middle of the night. We were worried about snakes and all this stuff, and we didn't see a single thing. So that was great. But we were we should have thought of that. But anyway, so it was pitch black. We were just like the person finding them. We were doing a Marco Polo. So Marco, and then people would clap and Polo or say Polo.
Please tell me it was in Spanish.
It was Marco Polo. Works is universal.
Marco
That's
Pollo?
just a name.
Marco Pollo?
Marco Polo, isn't he Spanish originally?
I don't know.
I think he like from Spain, right?
Let's just say
Marco is like a Latin name. I don't know, whatever.
let's just say yes.
But we did that. It was a lot of fun in the pitch blackness. And only the person looking for the people got to use their flashlight on their phone. Everyone else was in the dark, just waiting to get caught. It's kind of nifty. We did that. And secondly, and this is small, as far as a shocking thing, I met for the first time in only one instance, I met my sister.
What?
Yeah, I have two sisters.
Wait. Hold on, wait.
Hold on. Yeah.
Dude, you're dropping way too many fucking bombs today.
Yes, I am.
Like, listeners
there
don't
was a
know.
bomb earlier.
There was a nuke that went off earlier.
Yeah. This is the aftershock, the after bomb.
Fuck, wait, you have
Yeah.
two sisters?
I
I've
have-
known you for
I have two older
over
sisters.
20 years. I never knew you had two sisters.
Yeah, I mean, they're half sisters, technically, yes.
Still?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Older, younger?
Older. But yeah, they're older from my dad's previous marriage.
Wow.
Or previous, yeah, whatever it was.
So what was it like connecting with them?
That was crazy. Well, just one of them, the older one.
Okay.
And I met her kid too, and that was a trip too. And it was crazy. We dropped in on her. She had no idea we were coming.
Holy
Because she was in some small town between the city and another town we were going to.
wow.
It was very much like along the way. I didn't know we were. I had no idea I was gonna see her during this trip at all. I didn't even know it was possible, and then it just happened.
And so you have a nephew.
Two nieces actually. She has two girls.
Oh, why did I assume?
Yeah, you're good.
No.
You're fine.
Yeah, that's weird.
But the other Sarah, the other sister who lives up north somewhere, I think in Chihuahua somewhere, she I think has at least one boy, maybe two. She also has like two kids
Wow.
So-
That's amazing.
that I've never met. So
So your family just extended by...
yeah. So
Wow.
I've only seen her once, and I was a kid once. She introduced herself to me once as a kid, and I
When you're a
barely.
kid, you're like, yeah, whatever.
I was like maybe at best like a teenager, a young teenager.
Wow.
That was so long ago. Yeah, that was fun.
Wow. Blew my mind twice
trip.
today, Oscar.
You're welcome. And you didn't have to pay dinner either.
I didn't. No.
That's roughly, there's more things, but I don't want to bore too much. But yeah, it was like roughly my Mexican trip there. Took a lot of pictures.
Dude, well, I want to see some of those pictures. I want to hear more stories. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could roll those stories out as we...
Oh, I mean, they're not like that. They're not
no.
supernaturally inclined or anything. Yeah.
Any La Llorona sightings?
Oh my God. You want to try that again?
La Llorona?
Llorona?
Wait, say it. Llorona.
Llorona.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, but that's not what you
I'm
said.
tired.
Lorena? Who the hell is Lorena? You're some ex-floozy that you met?
Ooh, Lorena. Isn't that song?
I don't know. I was thinking Lorena Bobbitt.
Bro.
Yeah. Have you seen that documentary about her? It's so good.
No.
It's a great documentary. What about you, though? What have you been up to?
Me. Not much. For the family, for me, it's a lot. But, I mean, for people, are like, whatever. I had a birthday, May. My daughter had a birthday. She turned 18. Mm-hmm. And she is now out of high school. She finished high
Congrats,
school as
T.
of yesterday. Yeah, Talia, congratulations. You did it. There were ups, there were downs, but she did it. That's great. Proud of her. Very proud of her. So it was an emotional month.
Yes.
May was an emotional fucking month because I didn't handle her turning 18 and graduating well at all.
Yeah, because her birthday and graduation happened to kind of be close by, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her birthday's a week before mine.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm happy, I'm ecstatic, but I'm also like...
Yeah, totally.
Devastated at the same time. Like, I mean, listeners could literally go back to the early episodes of this show and hear her little squeaky voice.
Right.
In some of those episodes, and now she's a woman, and it's...
Totally.
How do you cope with that as a parent?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't. You just you suck it up. You try to do your best, put on a smile, but inside you're literally dying, dude. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
The emotion. So that was pretty much all of May was her finishing, her birthday, my birthday. Very emotional. And of course, I'm 1 year older, so that doesn't feel good. So add that on top of...
Well, at a certain age, I think you start adding 2 at a time. So you must be 71. I think you start because you give up.
I literally thought you were going to say something like profound.
No.
I was like, on bated breath, like, yeah, what's he going to say?
Yeah.
No.
I've been doing a lot lately. I've been doing this thing where I bring people in on a story or an anecdote just to give a punchline, and they go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, dude.
I've been doing it. I've been perfecting that move lately. It's been like my ongoing joke. It's hard to pull off. For example, like I work. I do a gig work, and I work for a laundry service. Let's just say that. So every night I go pick up laundry at this place, and I drop off the laundry I pick up at the end of the night. So at the end of the night, I'm going and I meet my supervisors that are there all day, and I joke around with them all the time. And I was like, and we always tell them about traffic reports and anything happened, any accidents. They're ready for it. And I was like, hey, what happened over in Evanston today? Like, do you have any of the drivers in Evanston? And she was like, why? What happened? Like, because I saw a lot of police activity, and it turns out they were looking for you. What have you been doing? So I bring her in a story. She thinks it's real, and then just make a joke out of it at the end. She's like, what the fuck, Oscar?
And you're fired.
Right. I'm doing a lot lately.
Yeah, you're an evil person, Oscar.
Thank you.
I always said that about you.
Aw.
Aw.
Thank you. Can I put that on my resume?
Should we put that on your tombstone?
Thank you.
We were talking about that earlier,
Oh,
too.
God, don't put a tombstone. Put that tombstone in your home. Don't waste the space.
All right, Oscar wants to be cremated.
Yes.
Me, I'm not going to die. So there we go.
Right. No.
Immortal. We're drinking some Fiddler Toasted. Mm-hmm. What do we say? It's 118 proof?
Yes, 118.
I shouldn't have slammed the table. This is some good shit. That's some good shit.
I literally just told another friend that you have this problem with slamming things on the table. And she's like, dude, I'm trying to get him off it, but it's really hard. It's like training a dog.
I always hit things.
Yeah.
We have a good one tonight, Oscar. Mm-hmm. This is a good one. It's timely. It's happening now. I just saw...
What did Rex Huerman do?
No, we're off of Rex.
Oh, okay.
We're off of the ogre for now.
Good.
And I think we're not going to hear of that until some book comes out. I really believe that, which sucks. But no, this one, I just saw some news coverage of it today. Okay. So this is happening. It's breaking. People are all fussed up about this. And I truly think there's something to this. So why don't we take a break? We'll get into it.
Let's do it.
Listeners, welcome back to the show. Well, the lights are turned down low. The ceremonial candle is lit. And the drinks are flowing. Let's start this show. Oscar, something is very wrong. It's very wrong. Something's happening. But they don't want you to see it.
I do know what's wrong. You just got older.
I did get older.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how old I am, though. I'll let the listeners think it's 35. I'm 35.
No, you're not.
I'm not. Something's very wrong.
You dodged the Vietnam draft. Just add up the years, folks, from there.
And it's not my age. Something's wrong. Across the United States, a disturbing pattern has emerged. Over the past several years, more than a dozen scientists, engineers, and defense officials, many of them working at the very frontiers of classified research, have died or disappeared under circumstances that defy easy explanation. The list includes a NASA nuclear propulsion engineer whose Tesla drove itself for 2 hours before crashing and burning beyond recognition. A Los Alamos administrative officer whose work phone and personal phone were found factory reset in her empty home. A retired Air Force general with knowledge of recovered UFO technology who walked into the mountains and never came back. And a materials scientist who vanished 30 feet behind a hiking companion without a trace. Now, today, the full weight of the federal government has been brought to bear. The FBI, the Department of Energy, the Department of War, and NASA have launched a coordinated systemic review. Law enforcement and congressional oversight officials have gone on record stating that these cases represent, quote, a grave threat to United States national security. The Senate Intelligence Committee has requested a full classified briefing. Even President Trump spoke up and says that he hopes all of this is just random. And yet there is a crucial caveat. Despite the alarm and the federal response, investigators have publicly confirmed that no verified connection between the cases we're about to talk about has been found. This is either reassuring or deeply unsettling. Now, what follows is a complete account, a dossier of these who the people were, the dossier, who the people were, what they were working on, and the precise circumstances of their deaths or disappearances, and the threads that may or may not bind them together.
I'm so excited for this topic. Because I read this story a little bit, like I read the headlines, and I'm like, what the fuck? I almost got into it myself, but then you mentioned you wanted to do it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll let Jay do the research.
Let him rack his brain for a month.
Yeah.
So what I've done, what I put together is a deep dive into really what's shaping up to be one of the most troubling national security mysteries of our time. Now, the first scientist that we're going to talk about, she died in the summer of 2022. Her name was Amy Eskridge from Huntsville, Alabama. She was 34 years old and an outspoken researcher and co-founder of the Institute for Exotic Science. Amy was working on what she called anti-gravity technology, a form of propulsion that would manipulate gravity itself, and her goal was public disclosure. On June 11th, 2022, she was found in her home with a gunshot wound to the head. Her death was ruled a suicide. But the police and medical examiners never released any details of their investigation.
Okay.
Now later, her case was reopened as part of this federal review we're talking about, okay?
Okay.
Now, unbelievably, Amy left warnings. In a final text to a close friend who was a former British intelligence officer, she wrote, quote, "If you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not," end quote.
No way.
She also claimed that she was being targeted by a directed energy weapon and that she was suffering from Havana syndrome, a mysterious illness whose symptoms include intense piercing noise and ringing in the ears, vertigo, dizziness, balance problems, brain fog, memory loss, and crushing fatigue. She provided photos of burn marks and blister wounds on her hands, which her associate, the British intelligence officer, attributed to microwave weapons. And for years, she complained of a sustained campaign of harassment. In a 2020 podcast, she stated, quote, "If you stick your neck out in public, at least someone notices if your head gets chopped off." So basically, she's saying that if she's vocal about her research and about what's happening to her, and if something nefarious does happen, at least people will listen and take notice.
Trying to find safety in the spotlight.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Exactly. She also said she received, her words, a shitload of anonymous messages offering advice on how to kill herself. Some of the messages were phrased as creepy rhymes.
Really?
Quote, "Take your pills and overdose and this will go away. Take your pills and overdose and it'll be okay."
Wow.
End quote. Wow. Yeah, that gives me...
That's like grooming for adults?
Well, and so that's the thing. So she was a vocal person. She was outspoken. She's kind of rambunctious. You know, she was out there in the public. She's doing podcasts and interviews. So it's like, was this harassment something that just kind of naturally occurred by people being just people, like the Netsians being Netsians and dickheads?
Right.
Or was it seriously a targeted attack from some nefarious agency that didn't want her to go public with her research, anti-gravity research? So was it natural or was it targeted?
Also, exotic science, is that the new word for fringe science?
I think they could go hand in hand for sure.
Right, because that's the same thing, right?
I think it's interchangeable.
Is that the way they replace UFO with UAPs?
UAP, yeah.
Because UFOs is like ridiculous. They don't take it seriously. Maybe
Exactly
fringe is
right.
the same way. Okay.
Exactly right.
That's how it feels. Okay.
Yep.
Just double checking.
Now, of course, you could probably put two and two together. Many believe Amy's quote-unquote suicide was a staged murder, a silencing. She was killed, people say, to prevent her from revealing a technology that would not only revolutionize space travel and national defense, but upend global power. Consider the implications of anti-gravity technology, the industries it would disrupt, the power shifts it would trigger. And the darkest question of all, what if that technology fell into the wrong hands? So was she silenced because of this? Now, a year after Amy Eskridge's supposed suicide, a NASA veteran died, and no one would say how. Michael David Hicks was a 59-year-old research scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. He worked there from 1998 to 2022 as a planetary scientist, specializing in comets and asteroids. He helped design the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART, a planetary defense mission. He contributed to the Deep Space One mission, which flew by a comet in 2001. He served on the science teams for the Near-Earth Asteroid Tracking Project, or NEAT, Near-Earth Asteroid Tracking Project, and he authored over 80 peer-reviewed scientific papers.
Wow.
Heavy dude, right? I mean, this guy is in it.
Yeah.
Now, on July 30th, 2023, Michael David Hicks died. And that's where the public record ends. To this day, no cause of death has ever been officially released by authorities. No record of an autopsy being performed has been found. NASA has not commented publicly on the nature of his death. Now, his daughter, Julia, told CNN that her father had been struggling with medical problems before his death. And she actually said, quote, "There's no train of logic to follow that would implicate him in this potential federal investigation." Meaning my father should not be lumped in with the missing and
Dead
murdered
scientists.
Yeah, scientists, exactly. But the complete absence of information has made his death a foundation stone for what some call the state cover-up hypothesis. Now, the state cover-up hypothesis states that the U.S. government, or a secret faction within the U.S. government, has concealed the recovery and reverse engineering of non-human craft, UFOs, for decades. To protect this secret, a small, unaccountable group monitors and, when necessary, silences those individuals who get too close to disclosure. The missing and murdered scientists we're discussing tonight are seen as victims of this campaign, with their deaths staged as suicides, accidents, or disappearances. Now, while it's not proven, the theory is gaining tons of steam because of the government's persistent murkiness and the eerie pattern of scientists dying or vanishing just before they could reveal classified information. The state cover-up hypothesis applies to Michael David Hicks because his death, officially unexplained, with no autopsy and no cause released, mirrors the exact pattern of official silence that the theory points to as evidence of a cover-up. So the silence is giving fuel to this whole theory, right? As a NASA planetary scientist who worked on the DART asteroid detection mission, Hicks operated at the intersection of space research and national security, making him, in the theory's view anyway, a potential witness to secrets worth killing for.
And plus,
Maybe.
doesn't the daughter who spoke to CNN, does she know the cause of death and just doesn't want to say it?
I'm assuming she would have to.
Okay.
I would think.
But okay, because obviously if she didn't know, I guess then she'd be up in arms about that. But it is strange. Yeah, because if it's an assassination, what kind of botched assassination did they do where they can't give a convincing lie that matches the dead body, maybe? I was thinking like that's the only reason not to disclose the cause of death.
Yeah.
Right?
It not disclosed.
It doesn't look like natural causes, it doesn't look like an accident that's believable. It looks like clear murder or it looks like something else.
Yeah. It's curious.
Right.
Doesn't mean, that, there's smoke.
And plus, if you
fire.
tell the internet not to look into something, they're going to look into it more.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing, too. The internet
It's like
has...
when you put a don't push button and you have a button right above, people are going to press that fucking button.
I'm going to push it.
I'm going to push it.
The server comes and says, don't touch the plate, it's hot. I touch the plate.
Totally.
But, yeah, it's strange. And you're going to see a little mini theme kind of running through a lot of these stories where the family says, no, we don't believe anything nefarious happened. Nothing to see here, right? But then, of course, on the other side of the coin, you think, okay, they were gotten to.
Yeah.
The family is being silenced. This is what they're being told to say. I don't know.
Some sort of settlement or something else. Yeah.
Or shut the fuck up, or something's going to happen to you too.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know, but
Right.
I mean, it's a logical conclusion.
If you were, let's say, an some sort of big time scientist, engineer, something like that, biochemist, and you were doing something that required NDAs up the ass, right? And you were working on something super important. Would you tell people? I mean, close to you, ideally. Would you prepare like contingencies?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what Amy Eskridge was kind of trying to do.
No, she definitely was, and
Yeah.
I would say that is like, I love her attempt there. I love her attempt, but not, you don't always have to go public right away from the get go. I know why she did it, but like, could you see yourself doing that or something different?
No, my dumb ass would be like, hey, look what I got. Look over here. I got this thing floating over here. Anti-gravity.
I got astrophage in real life.
Oh, from
Project Hail Mary. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be dumb. Like, I would be like, not saying Amy was dumb, but I'd be the vocal one. Like,
Yeah.
look what I got, right?
Yeah.
Only because I'm stupid, not because I'm trying to cover my ass with shining the light on it.
If
right?
you were worried that if you were working on something that would upset the world stage in some fashion, some impact, right? Would you tell your family, like, hey, if I die mysteriously or suddenly, don't mention what I've been working on.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other facet to it, right? Like, how do you approach the family on
Right.
that? Yeah,
And that's why they say, like, well, no, he didn't. Mom, we think nothing happened.
I think I certainly would.
Right? Kind of, it seems,
think I would.
you protect itself. Like, maybe the government or whoever doesn't have to step in to threaten or to do payouts to family members because they know not to.
They already know, shut up.
Right.
And so that, yes. And a lot of times these people, they have high security clearances.
Right.
So if they're following the rules, which a lot of them do, a lot of them take that shit very seriously.
Yeah.
They keep the family in the dark.
Yeah, they're supposed to. I mean,
right?
yeah. That's the
so
whole point.
there's that element too.
Totally.
It's
Maybe even told to lie about what you're doing as well.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Because like, if I had a spouse or just say a long-term live-in partner, I would want. I mean, I guess in this case, in this kind of off special case, I would want to be lied to. Because I would want to know what my partner is doing. I can't have a partner that I don't know what their job is.
Yeah.
A partner that just spends like 40 to 60 hours a week doing something that I don't know. Not because I'm jealous or anything. I'm just saying because I need to know. Then they're not my partner. They're my part-time friend or whatever. It's not like
And especially if that partner tells you, hey, if I die,
yeah,
don't say anything about.
Jesus, do we need to dig a bunker? What's going on here?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it would be a very weird home situation for sure.
Totally.
For sure.
Totally.
And there's how many movies about that, right? Like,
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
right.
Quite a bit. I mean, there's going to be another one soon.
Which one?
I mean, Disclosure Day. You literally dropped the disclosure word, the D word earlier.
Wait, June 12th.
12th, yeah, 12th.
The day before.
And you say you can't do it.
It's the day before Talia's big birthday. Like,
So?
we have so much going on here, man.
I know.
Ready.
You told me you can. That's fine.
But I want to see it with you.
Okay.
Disclosure Day, people. I think it's real.
I want to see it.
Okay, so before we move on to the next scientist, I just want to make a note on chronology. All right. So Amy Eskridge, the scientist we talked about right before Higgs,
2022.
right? She died on June 11th, 2022, more than a year before Michael Higgs.
Yeah.
Her case, of course, initially ruled a suicide, was not widely connected to the other scientists until much later.
Okay.
Now, Hicks, however, is the first death in this story that exhibited the core features of what would become the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
A NASA scientist or a scientist with no public cause of death, no autopsy, and absolute official silence. Okay?
Yeah.
When investigators and lawmakers later began looking for a starting point for the federal investigation, they identified Hicks as the first unexplained death in the sequence that now has Washington on alert. He's not the earliest victim, but he's the first one who made the pattern visible. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to kind of get that out there. Now, a year after Michael David Hicks died, another Jet Propulsion Laboratory scientist died. No autopsy, no explanation. His name was Frank Maywald, and he was a Jet Propulsion Laboratory principal, a title given to those making outstanding individual contributions. So he was high up there at NASA's JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Yeah.
And he was a longtime colleague of Michael Hicks. Wow, right? The research scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory we just talked about. Now, Maywald's work was in advanced satellite technology that could not only scan Earth, but could scan for extraterrestrial life. In June 2023, just 13 months before his death, Maywald was the lead researcher on a breakthrough that could help future space missions detect signs of life on other worlds, like Jupiter's moon, Europa, Saturn's moon, Enceladus, or the dwarf planet Ceres. His work literally placed him at the intersection of space exploration and the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. On July 4th, 2024, Frank Maywald died in Los Angeles at the age of 61. To this day, no cause of death has ever been publicly released by authorities, and officials confirm that an autopsy was never performed. The online obituaries set up for Maywald did not mention any health issues before his death, and NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory would neither confirm nor deny that Maywald had been employed there for decades, despite records of his achievements listed on their own website. The only public record marking his passing was his obituary posted online, and NASA has never commented publicly on his death. NASA's silence and its refusal to confirm or deny Maywald's decades of employment have left a void that, of course, others have rushed to fill. Online theorists believe he found evidence of extraterrestrial life and was silenced, another victim of the state cover-up hypothesis. And the fact that an autopsy was never performed as seen as an act of deliberate obstruction, a sign that someone with authority did not want his cause of death examined. Again, maybe. We just don't know, right? But it's curious.
It reminds me of this is a cheesy reference, of the movie Glass, the M. Night movie. Yeah. Where, spoiler alert for Glass, in that movie it turns out that not only do people with superhuman type abilities exist, but that there's an organization, a little cabal of insiders that murder people that come out with those abilities to quell the population down, so nobody gets any bright ideas
That's right.
about like making the world more complicated or changing the status quo of the limits of human understanding. And it's very cheesy. I mean, I love the movie, but it's a dumb movie. It's a kind of dumb premise. But that reminds me of that, the way you're describing this particular propulsion scientist. Yeah, it reminds, like they're silencing it to keep the status quo, to keep the same, the day-to-day life the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of, yeah.
Feels that way.
And I do just want to let listeners know, I always do this. I always forget to mention this at the top of the show. Go to the show notes. I have pictures of all of these people in the episode show notes. And they're in order as we talk, so it's very easy to follow. Frank Maywald, he reminds me, I don't know why, he reminds me of Mr. Bean. Like
he looks like
this
a little bit.
Little old guy, kind of. Yeah, it's.
Does he have the same kind of nose and wart or whatever?
The smile, I think, reminded me of him. Because the picture I have there of him is him with a nice big smile, and it's heartbreaking. Like when you look at these pictures, and you fit it into this overall.
It's not just that, Jay.
Sad,
I mean,
bro.
It's not just that. It's like when you combine that with a lot of things that we hold dear, or we hold as exemplary ways to succeed in life, in these people, and they're getting killed for it. Like we just, For All Mankind just had a season finale, and that's literally about the exploration of space. And they go to Titan, the moon, they discover life there. I mean, literally all these things that we're talking about. And I know it's just a show, but like, what's the thing that they highlight there that every household, especially, anywhere really, any household will highlight, like strong education, strong career. You go out there, you find your mark, and these people are getting killed for those things that we all want our kids to do and shit. So it's fucked up.
100% right. 100% right.
Makes me not want to go to school, I'll tell you that.
It's a reason to be dumb.
All right.
I am not going to get killed or suicided or vanish.
Right.
Great way to put it, man. So Frank Maywald's death essentially was a void. No autopsy, no explanation, no word from NASA. Silence. But silence isn't the only weapon. Sometimes the story ends with a man who was about to talk, and then, weeks before he could, his heart stops in a cocktail of prescription drugs. That man was Matthew Sullivan. Now, Matthew Sullivan was not an academic scientist, but he is part of this story and part of the investigation because he was something closer to the source. A decorated Air Force intelligence officer with a Bronze Star from Operation Enduring Freedom. More important to this story, Sullivan was also a high-level whistleblower who had direct, first-hand knowledge of the U.S. government's so-called legacy program, the long-running, classified crash retrieval and reverse engineering effort at the heart of modern UFO secrecy.
Yikes.
According to the New York Post, Sullivan has personally seen UFOs in federal possession. On May 12, 2024, at the age of 39, Sullivan was found dead in his Falls Church, Virginia home. The official cause of death? An accidental overdose of alcohol, Xanax, a muscle relaxant, and an antidepressant. But the timing is impossible to ignore. Sullivan had been scheduled to testify before Congress about the classified programs he knew of, just weeks after his untimely death. Representative Eric Burleson, a member of the House Oversight Committee's task force on UFO UAP declassification, formally referred Sullivan's death to the FBI. In his letter to the FBI, Burleson cited, quote, sudden and suspicious circumstances, and, quote, grave concerns about potential foul play, noting that Sullivan, quote, was prepared to provide testimony to Congress. At Sullivan's funeral, retired Major General David Abba said Matthew Sullivan had carried, quote, the burden that a select few in this nation have of truly understanding what's going on.
How?
And now he was dead, weeks before he was to testify. Sullivan was not merely a witness to clandestine programs and possible even UFOs. He was the primary source for David Grush, the whistleblower who told the world that the United States is in possession of non-human craft and non-human biologics. Grush's detailed complaint to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, these fucking titles, Oscar, these titles. Grush's detailed complaint to the Intelligence Community Inspector General, deemed credible and urgent, rested on a network of first-hand officers, and Matthew Sullivan was at its core, a network of officer whistleblowers, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Grush is supposedly waiting for the right time to go public about what he knows about Sullivan's death. You can say that Matthew Sullivan held the map, and in the eyes of those watching closely, he was silenced before anyone could follow that map to the treasure. The trail went cold after... You know what? I want to pause.
Okay, good, because I have an observation.
Yeah, go yours, and then, because, again, this is just breaking. Something's happening with this Grush now, too.
Okay. Super important. Do you know what 2 or more inspector generals are called?
What? This must be a good one, because he can't even...
No. It's so bad, that's why I started laughing. A lot of people think it's inspector generals, but it's not. It's inspectors general. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
It's a real thing. It's like cul-de-sac. Or pants cake.
Are you fucking drunk? It's 2 o'clock. 2:11, bro. Are you drunk? No. Okay.
I just wanted to troll you. I'm sorry.
You did. Success.
Okay.
All right, so David Grush, right? We got to, because this, again, is just breaking. I just saw this on the news this morning. David Grush, huge whistleblower, right? He told the world that the U.S. is in possession of aliens and alien craft. He supposedly knows a lot more about this Matthew Sullivan's death. He's waiting for the right time to release it. Just today, I saw on the news that now Grush is under intense scrutiny because they found... I think it was 30 gold bars at his residence, totaling over $40 million.
Okay.
A cache of like Rolexes, Rolexi, Rolexi?
Probably right.
And cash, like tons of cash at his house. So now they're taking him off the board. They're discrediting this guy.
Yeah.
Completely. Maybe he does. Maybe he does have this shit. Who cares if he's got gold bars?
Yeah, there's some octopus conspiracy stuff in this one. It has so much of that stuff from that era, from that show I did.
Oh, the octopus, yeah.
Yeah, so much stuff. There was a guy like that was discredited in that same fashion.
Yep. They're taking
with
him
like
off the
drug
board.
charges. It was like drug charges and stuff.
Now, and maybe there really is something there that Grush needs to be investigated about, but come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking him off the board. They're discrediting him. So that was just...
They look at the bottom of the bar, it says property of Fort Knox. They see, you shouldn't be having this.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so the trail went cold after Matthew Sullivan's death in May 2024. Then in the spring of 2025, the pattern shifted. The next name on the list was not a young intelligence officer, but a retired construction foreman who spent decades inside the most classified nuclear facility on Earth. His name was Anthony Chavez. He was 78 years old, and one morning he just walked out of his house and never came back. Now, Anthony Chavez spent nearly 3 decades at the Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Oh.
Exactly.
It's a big spot.
One of the most classified facilities on Earth.
Yeah, it helped make the first nuclear bomb.
Exactly.
It was one of those top 3 places.
Absolutely. Now, he was there not as a physicist or a weapons designer, but as a construction foreman.
Yeah, because you need regular people doing that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You need a janitor, you need everything.
And regular people see things.
Right.
And they have access to things.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, why aren't people, like, interviewing, like, the people that clean the White House for information? You know what I'm saying?
The cooks. The
Yeah,
maids.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's kind of what this person is, right? Anthony Chavez. So he started at the lab in '89, one of just 6 machinist apprentices selected from over 300 applicants for a program that trained workers for the nation's most classified nuclear facility. For 28 years, he helped build and maintain the physical infrastructure of America's nuclear weapons programs, the buildings, the access points, the controlled spaces where the country's most dangerous secrets lived.
Right.
And like you said, remember, everyone's got to remember the atomic bomb was born here.
Yeah, totally.
Now, Chavez retired in 2017, and by the spring of 2025, he'd been enjoying a quiet retirement in his modest wooden home in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Everything seemed great.
Oh, he didn't move, huh? He
stayed. Yep. And everything was great, but for some strange reason, on May 8th, 2025, Chavez left his home on foot. He left behind his wallet, his keys, his phone, and his car. And sources say he wasn't dressed for a long walk. That was the last anyone saw of him. When family members realized he was missing, they sounded the alarm. The Los Alamos Police Department launched what they called a, quote, unwavering search effort. Officers conducted thorough searches of known residences, hiked local trails, distributed flyers through businesses throughout the area, reviewed hours of surveillance footage from security cameras across town, and diligently followed up on every tip they received. They coordinated with multiple agencies, including state and federal partners. And to this day, Anthony Chavez has not been found, and the case remains open. Now, online speculation views Chavez as a possible unwitting intelligence source, someone who might have been exploited for general facility layout and security information. And, of course, we can't forget that Los Alamos National Laboratory has a rich history of UFO lore. And we talked about it extensively back in our extraterrestrial extravaganza episodes.
It was a three-parter, right?
Three-parter, yeah. So, like, what could this poor guy have seen that might have made him a target?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I fail to understand why the internet is, why he's included in the list. Because he's retired. That's one thing. And I don't know immediately from what you've described so far where the pressure is coming from and why now, or why last year in the spring, was the time to go.
Right.
So it seems to me more like, Chavez, I'm guessing, is a paisa that
he is.
Just wanted to go off and die alone. He was 78 and maybe he was done. It seems more like that than it is part of this conspiracy, unless you know something I don't.
No, I don't know.
It's interesting that he's in the list because the other ones seem a lot more better targets for this topic than he is.
This guy, 3 decades, one of the most secure facilities on the planet.
Totally.
Being in charge or part of that infrastructure.
Right.
He knows.
No generals are not going to know how to fix a door.
Yeah. He knows things. He's seen things.
Totally. No, I'm with you.
Clearances.
I'm with you.
Like, maybe someone thought, oh, he's just a construction guy. He's older. No one's going to miss him. Get him. Let's see what he knows.
Okay.
I could see that happening.
Okay.
But I could also see a proud man. Maybe
well, I will say so far, these recent kills and deaths, because I'm with you on this side. This is all very, very suspicious to the point where I'm going to fucking cite, this is bad behavior. That someone's murdering these people with a purpose, and it's not good. I think one thing we failed to mention yet is that there's an act of desperation in these actions and these murders. Something is happening that led them to this, because these people have been working on these projects for decades already. They already had their MBAs, they've already had their masters, they've already been doing it for a long time. Some of them have had NDAs for a longer time. There's, we mentioned a few examples. Some are younger, sure. But why now? And that kind of desperation could lead to a target like Chavez. And that could be maybe the best way you can frame it, so that make it believable, maybe in that way. But these people do seem desperate to kill these people now, right? Yeah.
And the only thing I could think of over the last couple of years has been disclosure, UFO disclosure.
Yeah. We've also been getting that over the last few years.
Absolutely. With all the congressional hearings, all the document dumps.
Yeah, I saw at least an hour and a half of that shit.
Yeah, I have every single document dump that's happened. I'm assembling an episode. It will be out fairly soon.
Make sure you keep that stuff. I'm not saying safe, but don't be surprised if that disappears from the internet at some point.
Yeah, I got it all. I downloaded. I spent the time to download every single one.
Good.
every video, every PDF, every photo.
Good.
I have it all.
Good.
So, but that's what's been happening over the past couple of years. When this list, these scientists disappearing, that's all right in the middle of heavy disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
That it's starting to happen. So, I don't know.
Yeah. But do you agree with me that these murders do seem a little desperate, a little impulsive, and like fast, and kind of like not well?
I don't know if I would say impulsive, because impulsive, you make mistakes. There's no mistakes here. Like the people who are
I think the mistakes is the
gone.
severity of them and the targets and how big they are. I think all those are mistakes because we're talking about them now. I mean, obviously not big mistakes, obviously to them, they don't give a fuck, but maybe they don't, maybe they do. Who knows? Yeah,
it's some organization that knows they're untouchable. It could be public, they don't care. They're not worried about it being public. I don't know, man.
How do you get the power back from these kind of guys? You can't, right?
I don't know that you expose them. You expose it. You jail them. That's only if this is a thing.
Yeah.
You expose it and hold them highly accountable. That's the only way. That's only you kill it by bringing it into the light, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, continue.
Not at all. But Chavez, right? Because he was not a high-level scientist with cutting-edge technology and high-level security clearances, his vanishing in some ways is kind of the most unnerving. Now, unbelievably, just a month later, a NASA material scientist also vanished.
What's a material scientist?
Into thin air.
I'm sorry.
So this person...
I can look it up if you
want. Her name's Monica Jacinto Reza.
Okay.
Or Riza. She worked in, like, super alloys. Materials, alloys, metals.
Chemical properties of various natural and synthetic or composite materials, including metal, alloys, rubber, ceramics, and so on. Okay.
There you go.
You're right.
There you go. This one's fucking interesting, bro.
Okay.
This one's interesting.
Hit me.
So again, Monica Jacinto Reza, she was 60 years old when she disappeared, and the director of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory's Materials Processing Group in Pasadena, California. Now, she was a woman of formidable intellect, holding both a Bachelor of Science in Metallurgical Engineering from Columbia University and a Master of Science in Materials Engineering from the University of California, Los Angeles. She began her career in 1988 at Rocketdyne, which later became Aerojet Rocketdyne, working on complex projects like oxygen-rich stage combustion cycle engines.
I have one of those at home.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's so hard about them?
Yeah, that's crazy what these people are into.
Yeah.
Now, Riza was renowned for her high-performance rocket alloys, and she had developed and patented a specialized super alloy called Mondalloy. This is real. Like, this is not Marvel shit.
I was going to say, these are like, what's that old scientist that's not a scientist? They combine, like, raw materials to make...
Like a...
there's a word. They're not scientists. They're not wizards. Alchemists. These feel like modern day alchemists.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, I would say Reza for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So Mondalloy is a nickel-based super alloy that Reza invented in the mid-1990s. This futuristic metal is critical for missiles and rocket engines. A breakthrough as essential to national security as it was to space exploration. Now, this is crazy. On the morning of June 22nd, 2025, Reza went hiking in the Angeles National Forest on the Mount Waterman Trail with a male companion from a yoga group and a second female companion. Now, the climb was kind of difficult, so the female companion stopped halfway and she went back to her car, while Reza and the male companion continued to the summit. There's a widely circulated photograph, which you could see in the show notes, taken at the top of Mount Waterman, which is believed to be the last confirmed image of Monica Reza. After the photo was taken, Monica and the male companion began their descent. They were about 30 feet apart. Monica was trailing behind. At one point, the man turned around and they made eye contact. Monica smiled and waved to indicate that she was okay. She was fine. The man turned around again minutes later. Minutes. But Monica Riza had vanished. That fast. No sound, no trace, no body. Her hat was later found lying on a remote part of the trail, kind of like an offshoot of the trail, but there was no sign of Riza herself.
Where was this again? Sorry.
This is in at Mount Waterman in the Angeles National Forest.
Is that one of the national parks? Is that the same thing? Because this sounds like a missing 411. This is one of those cases. You're describing a missing 411 case we discussed here years ago.
That's right.
That's crazy.
30 feet.
Right.
Within minutes.
Right.
Gone.
Like you turn and it's gone. You turn and yeah.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So, of course, the search, immediate and exhaustive. Search teams used helicopters, canine units, and hundreds of volunteers. But no trace of Monica Riza was ever found, save for that hat. It's also really important to note that the names of the male and female companions hiking with Riza that day have never been publicly released, which is really odd given the high-profile nature of this case and the high-profile nature of kind of who Monica was as a scientist.
Yeah, because she's a big deal in her field.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, you would, like, testimony is a record, and that kind of, you need the name of the person that was walking around her that saw them and waved to put in the report.
Absolutely.
I mean, just for starters, you do that. It's like common sense. That's not even like a special case.
And I'm hoping that the names exist somewhere. They're just not given to.
Oh no, totally.
I hope the police did their job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So strange. Now, Riza's family has categorically ruled out a fatal wildlife encounter, like a mountain lion or a bear.
Okay.
Because of the complete absence of physical evidence of an attack or any signs of a struggle. No mauled body, blood, clothing remnants, nothing.
Yeah.
Her backpack never found.
Okay.
So what the hell happened to this scientist?
Well, if they find her clothes neatly piled on a rock somewhere and folded, then we know what it is.
Absolutely.
But like, wow.
Now, theories include a professional snatch squad, like a snatch and grab, or an accidental encounter with a clandestine government operation out there in the forest, or something else entirely. Monica Riza remains an active missing persons case, and the FBI is apparently on it. They're supposedly researching this case, along with all the other...
Is that their field of research, or is there added, or is it just because of how big it is? The profile, I mean. Like, the FBI normally don't do this for national parks, right? That's like handled by National Park Service? Who handles that?
I think
it's a state problem.
Well, it gets gray, if you remember from the 411.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It gets really gray.
Yeah.
Who handles those cases.
Right. Because it's not like, there's no town there, there's no local sheriff, right? So that's something else.
I'm guessing.
Right.
Yeah, but the FBI, because of she's included in this overall investigation, that's why the FBI, in this case, is involved.
In this case, yeah.
Because she's part of this list, the dossier.
Right.
Now, later on in the episode, we'll see another high-profile missing persons case, this time concerning the man who oversaw the Air Force research group that funded Riza's work. And her Mondaloy project fell directly under this person's purview, a man named Major General William Neal McCasland. 2 people disappeared with ties to the same research. It's crazy.
I don't think it's unfair to say or to educatedly guess that all these people, except for maybe Chavez, knew of each other's names. Like, these circles are so, like, science circles, like any other kind of place and places or things, like from authors to whatever, to teachers. Well, not teachers, actually. They're treated pretty badly here. It's a small circle. They all know each other. You don't have to have met them.
Especially if you're working.
How many don't know that person's name? the venerable expert in this particular field, the metallurgist person from wherever she's from, like
who created a super alloy.
Right. Like, how do you not know that name when you get your second doctorate in somewhere? You know what I mean? Like when you're science all day, all night.
Yeah. I would. I mean, obviously, NASA is a huge organization.
Can you imagine being the last person that goes missing after reading all these reports? Like, he's like freaking out over everything. The first person, you'll never see it coming. Even the first 3 or 4. After that, you're like, something's happening.
Locking my ass in my house.
I sent her an Instagram message. She's never responded.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, totally.
Now, 4 days after Monica Riza's disappearance, a Los Alamos National Laboratories purchaser named Melissa Casius went missing, and her cell phones were wiped clean. Melissa Casius was 53. She worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory, just like Anthony Chavez.
Right.
The disappeared construction foreman we talked about a little earlier. Now, Melissa's husband, Mark, also worked at Los Alamos as a superintendent in building construction. A high-level construction position, just like Anthony Chavez.
I was about to say, they definitely knew each other. Right? Yeah.
At one time, both Melissa and Mark held security clearances. It's not clear from public record how high those clearances were, but because of bad debt, especially on Mark's part, both of their security clearances were revoked. So Melissa was basically forced to take a job with Los Alamos that didn't require a security clearance. And from everything I read, she basically became a purchaser. She was given a list of supplies, and she had to procure them. That was her job. No connection to anything top secret. Now, in the morning of June 26, 2025, Melissa Casius drove her husband Mark to work at Los Alamos National Laboratory, where she showed her badge at the security gate, as usual. Mark told her he needed the car back by 11 a.m. They shared a car.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa mentioned that she had to take care of a task at another lab site and drove away. Nothing out of the ordinary. But Melissa didn't go to another lab site on the Los Alamos campus. Instead, she drove the hour back to her house in Ranchos de Teos, New Mexico, right? Because Los Alamos is in New Mexico. And she arrived home at about 7:45 a.m. Her daughter, Sierra, just waking up, asked her mom, "Why are you home?" Melissa said she'd forgotten her work badge, which she didn't because she flashed it at security, and would either be working remotely that day or maybe she would just take the day off. The two hugged, and Melissa said, "I love you," to her daughter. Around 12:30 p.m., Melissa picked up a Subway sandwich and met her daughter Sierra at the John Dunn Shops near Taos Plaza for about 7 minutes. Sierra handed her mother a check to deposit, and Melissa handed her daughter the sandwich. Once again, Melissa said, "I love you," to her daughter, and then she left. Nothing weird. Surveillance footage captured Melissa leaving the shops around 1 p.m. with that check in hand, with Sierra's check in her hand. Now, back at Los Alamos, when 11 a.m. passed and no Melissa showed up with the car, Mark assumed his wife was stuck at work, somewhere off on campus. Mm-hmm. But her supervisor called Mark later on to say, "Hey, your wife never reported in." Mark got a ride home, where he found the front door locked and Melissa's car in the driveway. Inside, he found her purse, wallet, cash, keys, Sierra's paycheck, and both her personal and work phones on the kitchen table. The strange thing was, both phones had been factory reset. That's not something accidental. Wiping a phone is a decision. Yet alone 2 phones. That's a red flag.
Yeah. That's like either people are going off to leave for a different life that you have set up with a different name, or you're changing phones and you have to reset the previous one before handing it back in.
Right.
It takes a while. You have to hold the damn thing down. Yeah.
It's a decision.
There's no accidents.
No accidents. Now, later on that afternoon, a family friend reported seeing Melissa walking alone on New Mexico State Road 518 near Talpa, about 15 minutes southeast of Ranchos de Teos. Surveillance footage from a nearby residence confirmed that sighting. A woman matching Melissa's description, wearing a turquoise shirt, jeans, tennis shoes, and a backpack, and a maroon hoodie tied around her waist, was seen walking eastbound towards the Carson National Forest around 2:15 p.m. That footage remains the last known image of Melissa Casius. Over 100 people and canine units searched, but to this day, no sign of her. She simply vanished. The Los Alamos Police Department and New Mexico State Police are continuing to investigate, and the FBI has now lumped her case in with the overall missing and dead scientist case. Now, less than a month later, a young NASA engineer died in a fire that left investigators completely baffled. Joshua LeBlanc was 29 and an aerospace electrical engineer at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, the same city where Amy Exridge lived and died. Amy, of course, was the co-founder of the Institute for Exotic Sciences, we talked about earlier. That's the one who said she wasn't suicidal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, LeBlanc worked at Marshall Space Flight Center for approximately 5.5 years. And at the time of his death, he had been promoted to lead the instrumentation and control team for the maturation of space nuclear propulsion, or SNP, a technology NASA describes as essential for fast and efficient crewed missions to Mars and the outer solar system. Additionally, he was the technical lead for the DRACO program, or the Demonstration Rocket for Agile Cislunar Operations. God. Which is developing a nuclear thermal rocket engine for the U.S. government. In short, he was a key contributor to the propulsion technology most critical to America's future in deep space. Now, on July 22nd, 2025, Joshua failed to show up for work. He was last heard from by his family at 4:32 a.m. His phone and wallet were later found left at his apartment, leading his family to fear he'd been abducted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Joshua, he drove a Tesla, and by using the Tesla's Sentry Mode data, police determined that the car sat stationary for nearly 4 hours in a parking lot at Huntsville International Airport, a completely unplanned trip that his family described as entirely out of character. The vehicle eventually left the airport and traveled west onto rural back roads, where it self-drove itself for over 2 hours before slamming into a guardrail and several trees and bursting into flames in Walker County, Alabama at 2:45 p.m., broad daylight. The catastrophic fire left both the Tesla and LeBlanc's remains completely charred and unrecognizable. His body had to be transported to the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences, where it took officials 3 days to positively identify his remains. No official cause of death or evidence of foul play has been released, and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency says the investigation remains open. Now, LeBlanc's friend, a woman named Brittany Fox, told the Daily Mail that as of spring 2026, so just now, basically, neither she nor LeBlanc's family have been contacted by authorities since the day of that accident. She also mentioned that Tesla was really slow to release that Sentry Mode data, critical to understanding that crash. Now, up on Capitol Hill, Representative Eric Burleson from Missouri has pushed hard to include LeBlanc in the FBI's review of these missing and dead scientists into this list.
Okay, why?
Now, Burleson said, quote, "A young scientist named Joshua just turned up dead in a Tesla crash after his car drove for 2 hours by itself. Body burnt beyond recognition. This is not normal," end quote. Now, LeBlanc's case is a lightning rod for online theories. His youth, his credentials, the burned body, the self-driving Tesla, a painful lack of answers, and his attachment to nuclear propulsion and Mars, not to mention the geographic link to Huntsville, where Amy Eskridge died, This case has conspiracy written all over it.
Yeah, this is a prime candidate. I need a second, though. Hold on.
Yeah, sure.
This is insane, dude. Okay.
What's the matter?
No, the story.
Oh, like literally, listeners.
I'm going
Oscar got up and walked away. He's grabbing
nuts.
his face.
We're literally watching what all those thriller movies we watch talk about. It's like Enemy of the State combined with God knows what. But it's not even a movie. It's not even a movie. It's way worse than that.
It's the pattern
you
they
see-
don't want you to see.
You see a lot because, when we do conspiracies here on the show, we typically go from something in the past. Long retired or long dead people that did this and did that based on hopefully good enough evidence to make it to our show, right? But this is now.
Now
It's like...
it's unfolding as we speak.
Like when I say I lose hope in humanity, it's shit like this,
Yeah.
so fast.
I keep going back to what you said. It's like, I forgot how you exactly phrased it, but paraphrasing, it's the success, the educated, the successful, the visible, the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
that this is happening to, bro.
It's like It's like we want these people to exist, but we kill them for it. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? I have a question. So far, we've done almost an equal amount of disappearances and deaths. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty much balanced overall in the story so far. Do you think that there is a motive or a reason for why that is?
What? What is?
Why some just disappear and why some are murdered or dead, found dead? It's not hard to kill someone and make it look like suicide or an accident. So why not do that with the people that have disappeared?
I don't have an answer. I don't. Okay, they're older. I was going to say, like, they're older, their mental faculties aren't all there, they wander off, lay down, and die somewhere. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that. I don't know. I don't think that...
60 is not that old. 80, the 80 guy, sure. That 78, maybe. But, like, not all... No. I don't buy that.
But being 78 and attached to one of the most secretive nuclear facilities...
Well, that's why I think he's the one that doesn't fit for me still. Other than him, it seems like maybe... Could there be two different rogue factions at play here?
Oh, man.
And if you really want to go crazy, are the disappearances the aliens, and then the humans are the ones that are killing their targets?
I mean, Monica Riza.
Right.
Missing 401 style. I lean alien all the time on those theories.
I'm not saying they have to be aliens, but what I'm saying is that two different factions, maybe not working against each other, but by two different commanders, two different orders, maybe. They work differently. They're like their profile, how they work. I can't describe. Their procedures are different.
Right. Right. Like, or it could be the same or rogue organization.
It just seems weird to have some disappear and some die.
Right. Yeah. And
unless they're being kidnapped and they're doing something, and because they need those people alive, but they can't have them out in public. That could be another reason, right? They're actually alive, working in some secret lab under handcuffs or something. I don't know.
Like when Tony Stark got captured, right? And they were making...
Yeah. In the first one, you're right. Like that, exactly. Right. Everyone thinks he's dead from this explosion, but it's not true. He's been kidnapped. He's in his cave making Iron Man suit. Exactly, but not that.
It's the same organization, the same clandestine, unmonitored organization, sending out different type of hitmen. Hey, some people like to kill, some people like to snatch and grab and, make disappear. I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah.
It's weird. Or, take off the tinfoil hat, right?
I would hope.
The deaths are just deaths. They just died. Maywald, he did just die, and they just haven't released any information. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say on this.
Yeah, but you don't buy that.
No, after doing all this research, there's absolutely a pattern.
Yeah.
There's something going on, for sure.
It's totally a pattern.
The timing with the UFO disclosure, the credentials, background, no. Nope. The companies they work for, all these similar ties, nope. There's a pattern, for sure.
Okay.
Oof. All right. I can see Oscar's he's upset about this.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
Now, about a month after Joshua LeBlanc's mysterious Tesla death, a contractor with top secret clearance...
Tesla? Are you happy you didn't buy one? Sorry, continue.
I'm glad I got that Cadillac.
Right.
So this guy, top secret clearance, disappeared from his Albuquerque, New Mexico home. Another one. Stephen Garcia, he was 48 years old when he vanished on August 28th, 2025, just 2 days shy of his 49th birthday. He worked as a property custodian at the Albuquerque outpost of the Kansas City National Security Campus, a sprawling, low-profile Department of Energy facility that manufactures more than 80% of all non-nuclear components for the United States nuclear weapons stockpile. His job gave him a oh my God. His job gave him listen, if you're still with us after all this, I can get a screw up in here.
Yeah.
His job gave him a top secret security clearance and broad day-to-day access to entire inventories of sensitive assets. An anonymous source described Garcia's role as, quote, a very high-level overseeing position for all the assets. Tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars in equipments and assets, some of which are not classified, others would be classified, end quote. So he oversaw some shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
seems
tons of money,
totally
tons of assets. Now, shortly after 9 a.m. on the morning of August 28th, 2025, surveillance cameras captured Stephen Garcia leaving his home alone. He walked out the front door wearing a green camouflage shirt and shorts. He didn't take his phone, his keys, or his wallet, all of which were later found inside his house. He left his car behind. The only things he carried were a handgun and a bottle of water. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. The Albuquerque Police Department issued a missing persons alert, noting that Garcia may have been a danger to himself. But the anonymous source I just quoted told the Daily Mail that the possibility of him being the target of foreign spies makes the most sense. The Kansas City National Security Campus, according to reports, launched its own internal investigation, searching Garcia's work computers, his emails, and his files for any clues, but they didn't turn up anything. Now, online, Garcia is considered the most likely candidate for an extraction by a foreign intelligence agency, like Russia or China, given his direct access to the nuclear supply chain. His case is still active, and it is now being investigated by the FBI as part of this overall missing and dead scientist case. Now, moving along, in the fall of 2025, a lot happened in 2025, man.
Yeah.
Something catastrophic happened at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. Now, keep in mind, Wright-Pat is widely considered to be the real Area 51. It's supposed to house the UFO wreckage recovered from the Roswell incident of 1947. It's supposed to house aliens, alive and dead, and we're supposedly reverse engineering alien tech there. So, Wright-Pat, steeped in UFO lore. So, within a 24-hour period, on October 24th and 25th, 2025, 3 personnel assigned to the Air Force Research Laboratory divisions at Wright-Pat died, representing the single largest clusters of death in a single 24-hour period in this whole story. 3 people tied to the same corner of the defense establishment, gone in a single night. First, we have 25-year-old First Lieutenant Jamie Sue Gustitis, a neuroscientist and operations research analyst working at the 711th Human Performance Wing of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I just can't with these titles. Her work, as described by the Air Force, involved pushing the boundaries of human-machine interfaces, brain stimulation, augmented learning platforms, and neurotechnologies designed to accelerate cognitive performance, essentially turning soldiers into faster, smarter operators through direct brain interfaces. Super soldiers, all right?
Okay.
All of that, super soldiers.
Okay.
She graduated at the top of her class in Novi, Michigan, her high school class, before earning a Bachelor of Science in Operations Research from the U.S. Air Force Academy. She completed her master's degree in operations analysis from the Air Force Institute of Technology at Wright-Patterson, where she specialized in mathematical and quantitative modeling. And she lived in Sugar Creek alone, about 18 miles south of the base. Okay.
Okay.
Next, we have the husband and wife team, the Pritchards. Jacob Pritchard, 34, who worked in the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Pat, and his wife, Jamie Pritchard, 33 years old, who worked as a finance specialist in the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center at Wright-Pat.
They must have lovely dinner discussions on that stuff.
Right? Boring-ass couple. They lived in Huber Heights, just north of Dayton, with their children. So here's where it gets nuts. Sometime in the evening of October 24th, or early in the morning hours of October 25th, 2025, Jacob Pritchard killed his wife, Jamie, and placed her body in the trunk of their car. The cause of death was asphyxiation by strangulation.
Okay.
Okay? So he strangled his wife. Around 2 a.m., Jacob drove to Sugar Creek Township, broke into Jamie Gustitis' apartment, and shot her to death.
Okay.
A witness reported hearing a glass door shatter and saw a man flee that scene. At 4:22 a.m., Jacob arrived at the West Milton Municipal Building parking lot. He opened the trunk of his car, revealing his wife's body, and killed himself with a gunshot. And his suicide was captured on the building's security cameras, their external cameras.
Oh, really?
For all the precision of this police timeline, all the times and exactly what happened, the fundamental question remains unanswered to this day. Why?
Why? Yeah.
The relationship between the Pritchards and Jamie Gustitis remains officially unknown to investigators. Police have only described Jamie as their colleague. The Air Force and the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation have not released a motive. No workplace dispute was ever mentioned. No romantic entanglement has ever been confirmed. No note was found. The official record contains only the mechanics of the death, not the causes. And here's something else that's really strange about this case. One of the Sugar Creek Township police officers who responded to the scene of Jamie Gustitis' shooting was placed on administrative leave and resigned the very next day. And the township authorities have refused to explain why. Today, the case is not closed. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the Air Force Office of Special Investigations are leading the inquiry into these three deaths. The West Milton Police and the Miami County Sheriff Office and Sugar Creek Township are all assisting. So Lover's Triangle is the first thing that comes to mind.
Right, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
They say there's no evidence of that we're aware of publicly. All working for Wright-Pat. It's a little strange, considering this list and what Wright-Pat's known for. I don't know if there's anything there, but it's weird. Strange.
Huh. The camera thing is interesting. You think there was some sort of drug-induced manipulation thing?
Man, clearly he wasn't in his right mind. Was it substance related? Did he have a mental break? It's hard to say. Don't know.
I mean, the way that Marilyn Manson used acid to tell his flock what to do.
Oh, Charlie Manson.
What did I say?
Marilyn Manson.
I always say that.
We talked about Marilyn Manson off air, remember?
I made that mistake a lot. Yeah. Charlie Manson, sorry. How he used a lot of drugs to influence and tell his cult members, not just the horrible stuff like kill people, but also a lot of regular things, how he manipulated them, right? Through all these acid trips and mushrooms and God knows what, right? Through drug-induced, directional...
Tons of acid.
Orders, right? Could be something like that, just not so extreme, maybe not so crazy.
But who's pulling the strings? Who's providing the
Yeah, I feel like
substance.
Jim Garrison, who wrote the one of the official books on JFK and the assassination, would love this story.
Oh God, yeah.
He's the guy who Kevin Costner played in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Because he wrote that book for real. Like, he was like, that's like based on a real person.
He would like this.
Yeah, this is totally up his alley.
Now, basically, just 2 months later, in December 2025, a renowned physicist was shot to death in his own home. Nuno Loureiro was 47, Portuguese-born, and the director of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. He worked at MIT.
Yeah.
He earned a PhD in physics from Imperial College in London in 2005. He completed a postdoctoral fellowship at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory and worked at the UK's Culham Centre for Fusion Energy before joining the MIT faculty in 2016. In fact, in January 2025, President Joe Biden presented Nuno with the Presidential Early Career Award, the highest U.S. government honor for young scientists.
Really?
So this guy's a badass. Now, Loureiro's research focused on the commercialization of fusion energy. Under his leadership, MIT's Plasma Center and Fusion Center was collaborating with Commonwealth Fusion Systems to build Spark, a compact fusion reactor designed to produce net energy from fusing atoms, with operations expected to begin sometime this year in 2026. 2 weeks before his death, Loureiro told an interviewer, quote, "This is a very advanced technology, and whatever nation masters it first is going to have incredible advantage," end quote. World-changing stuff.
Sounds good.
So on the evening of December 15th, 2025, Loureiro was at home with his wife and 3 children. Around 8:30 p.m., the doorbell rang repeatedly. His 12-year-old daughter opened the door and saw a man holding a package. Loureiro told her he would handle it and walked into the building's foyer. Gunshots followed. Officers found him clinging to life, struck at least 3 times, in the chest, abdomen, and thigh. He died, that following morning at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Now, the shooter was identified as Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, a 48-year-old Portuguese national and legal permanent resident living in Miami. In a subsequent FBI investigation spanning over 490 leads and 260 interviews, authorities determined that Valente, acting alone, also carried out a mass shooting at Brown University just a few days earlier on December 13th, 2025, killing 2 students and wounding 9 others. Following the Brown shootings, Valente recorded audio files and videos confessing to the crime, showing no remorse and offering no explanation for his actions for the Brown shooting or
now
for
they're throwing lone gunmen into
Nuno's
this?
death. Oh, there's 2. There's 2. Now, yeah, and he was later found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire, right?
Of course.
The investigation revealed that Valente and Loureiro attended the same physics program in Lisbon, Portugal, between 1995 and 2000. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit concluded that Valente acted out of a symbolic desire to attack what he perceived as his own personal failures. Brown University as an institution, and Loureiro as a representation of the academic success he believed had eluded him. So he was punishing those that he felt caused him his own personal failures in life.
Yeah.
Valente began planning these attacks as early as 2022. He had no criminal record, and he'd been unemployed and increasingly isolated in the years before these attacks. Now, Nuno Loureiro's name has been included in the broader Federal Review of Missing and Deceased Scientists. His relevance to this investigation lies in the geopolitical significance and potential economic impact of his fusion work, which, if it came to fruition, would be the biggest disruptor to the energy sector the world has ever seen.
Which we sorely need, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
We need alternatives like yesterday.
Now, online, the primary theory is that Lorerio's murder was a targeted hit by a state actor, meant to eliminate a key figure in the world of in the world-changing race for fusion energy, and that Claudio Valente was a patsy, or a fall guy, or maybe even a Manchurian candidate.
Right.
Now, 3 days before Lorerio's murder, another scientist had already disappeared. Jason Thomas was a 45-year-old father and husband who worked as an assistant director of chemical biology at Novartis, a global pharmaceutical giant. His work involved researching novel cancer treatments, a highly sensitive field. While this carries clear national biodefense implications, there's no public evidence his specific research was classified or linked to covert programs that surrounded other missing or dead on this list. What made Thomas's inclusion in the federal investigation is what happened shortly before his disappearance. In November 2025, his life was shattered by the death of both of his parents. As an only child, Thomas was by his mother's side when she passed. Only an hour later, when he and his father were making funeral arrangements, his father collapsed in his arms, died of a heart attack. Both parents dead in the same day. Could you even imagine?
No.
Now here's where it gets weird. On December 12th, 2025, Jason and his wife Kristen went out with some friends. It was one of Jason's first, social gatherings since the death of his parents. His wife said he was quiet, he seemed weighted down, and after returning home from the outing, he stepped outside. His wife heard the mailbox close. She ran outside and saw him walking away, and their eyes met. Jason turned and walked into the dark, and he never came back. Kristen later found his phone and wallet inside the house, and his Apple Watch in the mailbox. That's what she was hearing when the mailbox closed.
Okay.
His final moments were captured on a Ring camera near some train tracks. Then he vanished. 3 months later, on March 17, 2026, his body was recovered from Lake Quinnipiac in Wakefield, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
The lake had been frozen solid for most of the winter, delaying any search. The district attorney's office has said that there was no foul play suspected, and his wife has not accused anyone of harming him. In fact, she's adamant that Jason's death is tragically a suicide, resulting from extreme grief. As of late spring 2026, investigators have not publicly identified any individual suspects or a conclusive cause of death, pending toxicology and final coroner reports. But the FBI's multi-agency review remains ongoing, so he is in this list that the FBI is investigating.
Right.
Now, of course, some people speculate that Jason's death was a staged suicide, meant to cover up his involvement in secret government bioweapons projects. But for me, though, this is the case that's loosest on the list. I think this one is one that's likely not part of something larger. He lost both his parents. Desperate. I think suicide's the answer on this one.
Yeah, this one has that merit for sure. This one's like second weakest after Chavez for me.
For you, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I see why. I see why it's number one for you, though.
Yeah. Now, 2 months after Jason Thomas went missing, an astrophysicist was shot dead on his front porch. Carl Grimmer was a Canadian-born astrophysicist who spent nearly 3 decades at Caltech's IPAC, which is the Infrared Processing and Analysis Center. He studied exoplanets, galactic structure, and dark matter, collaborating on NASA missions, including the Hubble and Spitzer space telescopes. In 2007, he led a landmark study that became the first to capture enough light from exoplanets to identify the molecules in their atmospheres, work that included detecting water vapor on distant worlds. He also discovered evidence of water on exoplanets, a breakthrough that reshaped the search for habitable planets. He published 147 peer-reviewed papers, logged more than 400 hours as a principal investigator on the Hubble telescope, and he received NASA's Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal in 2011. Again, another badass, right?
Right, yeah, in his field.
In his field. At 67 years old, Gromer lived in a remote area of the Mojave Desert, chosen for its dark skies, where he built his own observatory. On February 16, 2026, deputies found Gromer bleeding on his own front porch from a gunshot wound to the torso. That's where he died, at the scene. Now, the alleged killer was Freddie Snyder, a 29-year-old neighbor who lived 2 miles away. Months earlier, on December 20th, 2025, Snyder had been found near Gilmer's home carrying a loaded, unregistered rifle. He was arrested, but a judge released him on his own recognizance 3 days later. On February 5th, 2026, prosecutors dropped the gun charges, citing Snyder's lack of a prior record. 11 days later, Snyder allegedly returned and shot Gromer, then fled, carjacked a vehicle, and then was arrested after a brief pursuit. Now, Gromer's widow, Louise, has forcefully rejected conspiracy theories linking her husband's death to the classified research and missing scientist lists we're talking about tonight, calling any sort of link absolute nonsense. In her view, Snyder was a disturbed neighbor with a grudge whose behavior had been escalating, and the justice system failed to stop him. Despite her objections, the FBI included Gromer in its broader coordinated review of missing and deceased scientists due to his ties to sensitive research, his extensive work with NASA, the uniqueness of that research, and his mind-blowing discoveries about alien worlds, water.
This is the second lone gunman, right? That you were
second lone
referring to.
gunman, yeah. So this case leaves a lot of people asking again, was Freddie Snyder another patsy or a mind-controlled hitman sent to silence Gromer? For what exactly? We don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, 11 days after Carl Gromer was shot dead, a retired major general walked out of his home and vanished. Retired Major General William Neal McCaslin is the central figure in this whole investigation, and he is the undisputed focal point of the federal probe.
Okay.
Now, his sudden disappearance transformed a series of scattered anomalies into a full-blown national security review, drawing in the FBI, the Department of Energy, and even Trump's White House. So it's safe to say that if this guy hadn't disappeared, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Okay.
Now, like most people on this list, McCaslin, highly educated. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Astronautical Engineering from U.S. Air Force Academy in '79, and continued his education at MIT and the U.S. Naval War College. Upon his promotion to Major General, he was placed at the helm of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base from 2011 to 2013. In the 1990s, he held a critical post as the director of the Phillips Research Site at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, a center for directed energy and space nuclear research. Now, General McCaslin's most crucial link to the other missing persons on this list is through that classified superalloy we mentioned way earlier.
Yeah.
That Mondaloy, right? Developed by Monica Riza. The Mondaloy program served as a conduit through which Monica Riza's work flowed directly into General McCaslin's command structure. So now we have the Mondaloy overseer and its creator both vanished.
Or vanished, yes.
So what the hell does that mean? Now, actually, there's a term for this strange coincidence. It's called the Doe-Eckart limit. Now, the Doe-Eckart limit states that when two people with such deep institutional and classificatory ties vanish under similar improbable circumstances, the probability of a benign or innocent explanation drops to below 0.76%. So in other words, the question is not whether the incidents are connected, but whether the connection was orchestrated from above, or whether a third unknown factor is at play. Now, when it comes to UFOs and UAP, McCaslin's shadowy involvement with the UFO research placed him at the center of a web involving rock stars, presidential campaigns, and whistleblowers. This public association is largely thanks to Tom DeLonge, the frontman for Blink-182, who founded To the Stars Academy to study UFOs and UAP, right?
Yeah.
In 2016, a WikiLeaks dump of emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, revealed McCaslin's connection to Tom DeLonge. In those emails, DeLonge wrote that McCaslin, as the former head of the lab at Wright-Patterson, a facility rumored to hold debris from the 1947 Roswell incident, was, quote, very, very aware of classified material and was advising his disclosure project, meaning Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy. So McCaslin was acting as advisor to Tom DeLonge.
Right.
UAP whistleblower David Grush, now a special advisor to Congressman Eric Burlison of Missouri, told the Daily Mail that McCaslin was, quote, a hostile witness that he was trying to compel to testify before Congress regarding non-human craft recovery programs. So to say that McCaslin was heavily involved in the field of UAP research and top-secret programs is an understatement.
Yes, right.
So what happened to McCaslin? Well, he was last seen on the morning of Friday, February 27, 2026, at his home near the Sandia Mountains in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He left his phone, his glasses, and smartwatch before vanishing. The items investigators believe he took with him were his hiking boots, a .38 caliber revolver with a leather holster, his wallet, and a red backpack. Kind of seems like a man preparing for something, if you ask me.
Yeah, totally.
Now, at approximately 10 a.m., a repairman was at McCaslin's home and spoke with him. Shortly after, his wife, Susan, left for a medical appointment. She returned home by 12:04 p.m., and McCaslin was gone. He was nowhere to be found. Due to some unspecified medical issues, the sheriff's office issued a silver alert. His wife described him as, and this is a quote, at some risk, but pushed back on any speculation that he was suffering from dementia, clarifying that he had only been experiencing occasional mental fog. An exhaustive search was conducted, covering hundreds of homes, using drones and canine units that covered the Sandia Mountain foothills. Now, gray Air Force sweatshirt was found about a mile from McCaslin's home, but it's not been confirmed whether it belonged to General McCaslin.
Okay.
And after dozens of tips to law enforcement, as of late spring 2026, so now, there's not been a single confirmed sighting of General McCaslin. Is he dead? Is he hiding? Or is he on the run to prevent himself from revealing highly classified UFO, UAP information?
I like the idea that he might be hiding out there. That he's like that kind of guy.
Like Ramboing it out there?
Right. I do like the idea, but I have no faith or hope in humanity on this story. Nothing. So maybe not. Most likely not. It would be nice, though.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, or like because he's one of the disappeared, it could be that he's been like sequestered, kidnapped somehow, right?
It's certainly
held
possible.
somewhere like that. I don't think that's the case either. Most likely, like logically, I'm thinking all these people are dead, the missing included.
And then is it at their own hand or someone else's hand, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, after General McCaslin vanished, the federal government went full steam ahead with their probe. In April 2026, the White House, Congress, and the FBI began coordinating their investigations. President Trump acknowledged this matter on April 16th, telling reporters, quote, "I hope it's random. Some of them," meaning the scientists, "were very important people, and we're going to look it over over the next short period." End quote. That was from Trump. "I hope it's random. Some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period." That was from Trump. So it's important to note that the connections between these cases, they're not proven yet. They are visible,
There are connections.
There are
yes.
connections in methods and details. They're strange. Some on the list died by gunfire. Nuno Lauriero, Carl Grammer, Jacob Pritchard, Jamie Costitis. Others simply walked away from their homes. Anthony Chavez, Melissa Casius, Stephen Garcia, General McCaslin. Amy Eskridge claimed she was being attacked by a directed energy weapon and showed photos of the burns. Melissa Casius' phones were factory reset, a deliberate wiping of digital evidence. Joshua LeBlanc's Tesla drove for 2 hours before crashing and burning.
That one is like a legit. I think I've seen that in a horror movie.
Maximum Overdrive, Stephen King.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. That's funny. No, there is a horror movie with that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, and then, of course, we have Monica Riza, who vanished without a sound 30 feet behind a hiking companion.
Right. She got 411.
And that, missing 911. Then there's the UFO UAP connection, woven throughout all of this.
100%.
General McCaslin served as an unpaid consultant for Tom DeLonge for the To the Stars Academy. DeLonge introduced McCaslin to the UFO community. McCaslin was named in WikiLeaks emails from 2016 discussing UFO disclosure. Representatives Tim Burchett and Eric Burleson have gone on record saying McCaslin was privy to recovered UFO technology, and those statements are not internet speculation. They're elected officials speaking openly. There was the whistleblower Matthew Sullivan and his direct knowledge of legacy UFO programs. And how about Carl Grammer's research into exoplanets, or Frank Maywald's research into advanced satellite technology that can scan distant planets for extraterrestrial life? What does it all mean? Does it mean anything? Are we looking for patterns where none exist? Now, I do have one final bit of strangeness. The day before the FBI announced its investigation into the missing and dead scientists, so on April 20th, 2026, because the FBI made its announcement on April 21st. So on April 20th, a famous UFO researcher named David Wilcock died by suicide in Boulder County, Colorado. The timing of these two events has ensured that Wilcock's death, however explainable on its own terms, has become permanently entangled in the wider pattern of missing and dead scientists. Whether Wilcock is a victim, a casualty, or a coincidence, his story now orbits the same gravitational field as the others on this dossier.
Okay.
And like them, it refuses to resolve cleanly. Now, David Wilcock, for those who don't know, was a significant figure in the UFO disclosure movement, possibly one of the most visible public faces of UFO belief on the planet. He authored several books, including The Source Field Investigations, The Ascension Mysteries, and The Synchronicity Key, some of which were New York Times bestsellers. He appeared in 81 episodes of the History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and developed the following of more than 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, all while building a sprawling online ecosystem around the idea that humanity was on the verge of a major positive spiritual ascension that would coincide with the disclosure of alien life.
Okay.
Now, here's what makes his presence in this list so strange. Wilcock did not work on Mandalay, he didn't hold a security clearance at Los Alamos, and he didn't design nuclear thermal engines at Marshall Space Flight Center.
The opposite.
Yeah, and yet for years, he was the public face, the mouthpiece for the very world this list is about. The world of classified reverse engineering programs, non-human craft, advanced propulsion systems, and the men and women who claim to have touched them. So on April 19th, 2026, Wilcock streamed on his YouTube channel for more than 3.5 hours. During that broadcast, he spoke about the disappearance of these scientists. Quote, "Every day that I have on this earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that, because frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are missing. It's a little bit scary, I gotta say." End quote. So he specifically addressed this.
Right.
And he addressed suicide directly. Quote, you don't need, quote, you don't get to resurrect. If you lay down your life, you're done. So please, don't do that. Please don't be stupid. Natural is the only way to go. End quote. Just over 12 hours later, at 10:44 a.m. on April 20th, the Boulder County Communications Center received a call from a man who identified himself as David Wilcock. He said, quote, I need to leave, and, quote, I will be to the left of the house. He spoke about health issues and financial concerns, but wouldn't answer whether he was armed or whether he planned to hurt himself. Deputies arrived in the area at 10:53 a.m., and they waited for backup, and then they approached Wilcock's property. As they drove up the driveway, Wilcock, who was still on the phone with dispatch, said, quote, I'm sorry to put you through this, and then he hung up. Deputies observed Wilcock sitting outside his house, holding a gun to his head. At 11:04 a.m., a single shot was discharged into an unknown direction. Police noticed that Wilcock was still alive. At 11:05 a.m., a deputy commanded him to put that gun down. 3 seconds later, deputies witnessed Wilcock shoot himself in the head, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Okay. Suicide by self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Right.
Now, his family, speaking through a statement released by the sheriff's office, said, quote, David Wilcock took his own life on April 20th, 2026, after a long struggle with depression and overwhelming financial debt. His family and chosen family hope this loss encourages more focused attention to mental health care access, end quote. In the same statement, the family directly addressed the wave of online conspiracy theories that had already begun to pop up
the
around
second
his
that
death.
happened. Yeah.
And, quote, from his family, quote, many who knew him from afar have speculated that there is a cover-up involving his death, but we can assure you there was no foul play, end quote. So with that statement, his family tried to rationally close the doors on this horrifically tragic event, but the internet kicked in and kicked that door open again. Wilcock's final live stream, in which he had warned against suicide, was recirculated endlessly. One of his posts on X from 2022 became a kind of digital scripture for those who refused to accept the official ruling. And that X post read, quote, I plan on living in all capital letters. I plan on living, not suicidal at all, just concerned about happens when you prove God is real, end quote. For the conspiracy theorists, and for tons of his regular followers too, the coincidence of timing was just too much. The FBI announced its investigation into missing scientists on April 19th, and arguably the most famous UFO advocate was dead by his own hand within 24 hours.
Yeah, that's huge.
Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett, we talked about him earlier, who had been publicly pushing for answers about General McCaslin and others on this list, responded to the news of Wilcock's death with 2 words: not cool. When pressed, he told the Daily Mail, quote, I just don't think there's any chance that this is just a coincidence, end quote.
Yeah, I know.
A man who spent his life telling audiences that the government was hiding the truth about alien craft died in a remote Colorado town during the same week the FBI announced an investigation into a dozen-plus missing scientists, with a gun in his hand in front of police after explicitly warning his audiences not to kill themselves. Even if the official fact is accurate, depression, debt, mental illness, the shape of those facts is something else entirely. It looks like another pattern. It might be a tragic coincidence, but it looks like a pattern.
Yeah, it looks like a pattern. Common sense says it wasn't suicide.
Crazy, right? Pushed to do it, controlled to do it.
It reminds me of, remember that thing? We didn't do a story on it, but it reminds me a little of those assassination attempts, or it was like some sort of... There's another version of it where it wasn't so extreme as killing people, but it was like not controlling them either, but it was like bothering them, giving them migraines. It was like the the sound attacks that happened in
like
Cuba.
The Havana syndrome.
Yeah,
that
that's
we
the
talked
thing.
about with Amy Eskridge.
Like you get a sense like they're getting hit with waves they can't see, right? Because we don't see sound waves. They're targeted on them, and it makes them do
Fucks with their mind.
fucks with their minds. Maybe suicide is a natural, inclination for a person under such duress, or they're being directed by it. I think it's something like that. I know it's super far-fetched, but we are in exotic science here a little bit in this arena.
Absolutely.
So maybe, why not?
Absolutely.
Why not?
So patterns, it might be a coincidence, his death, but it does look like a pattern. And in this story, patterns have a way of refusing to be just coincidences.
Yeah.
This web of interconnected institutions, overlapping timelines, and high-stake research, some of it now definitively linked to the study of UFOs, paints a picture of a scientific and national security establishment under immense, and in some cases lethal, strain. The full scope of the truth about these missing and dead scientists is likely known only to a very small group of people within the highest levels of government and the intelligence community. What remains unsaid is perhaps the scariest part. How many more names are not on the list? How many families have been told it's just an accident, or a suicide, or a random crime?
Right.
And have quietly accepted that explanation because the alternative is too terrible or too unbelievable to bear. The federal investigation is ongoing, but investigations can be stalled, buried, or redirected. Witnesses can recant. Files could be classified or destroyed. And the difference between a cover-up and a coincidence is often just a matter of what the public is allowed to see. Something's wrong, and the pattern you're not supposed to see is already in front of you. The question isn't whether it exists. The question is what you intend to do now that you see it. Because in this story, seeing isn't passive. To know is to become a potential loose end. And loose ends in this list, in this dossier, has shown they have a way of being tied off.
Right.
So now you're privy to information that others have died for. The question is, will you be next?
I got that from The Sopranos.
Fresh cockles, get your cockles.
What?
Game of Thrones.
Is it? Oh,
When
I don't remember that.
Arya Stark was pretending to be
A boy.
a beggar. Yeah, a boy beggar. Mm-hmm. Get your fresh cockles.
What is a cockle?
It looked like a clam.
Really?
I was like, all right, lad, we'll have some cockles. And then they just open it with the knife and
They are
slurp it down. I was like, oh, it looks so gross.
Yeah. Hey, you don't like clams? Or
I
like oysters?
I do.
They're very similar, aren't they?
I don't think I've ever had a clam. Mussel.
I've had mussels. They're weird. They're also heavily
Italians love
drenched in
mussel.
things.
Yeah, garlic.
I think it just seems like you're trying to justify a way to eat them because they taste like nothing or they taste like shit. And they add
the mussels.
Yeah. So they add all this shit to it. Which seems it kind of defeats the point. Just serve something else.
Yeah.
So I've had mussels, but it's drenched in all this shit that I don't actually know what it tastes like.
Yeah, the Italians do like fruit di mare. It's like fruit of the sea. So you got mussels and squid and calamari.
I
and
like
all this
squid.
shit.
I love calamari.
And it's like a
I discovered calamari at Gino's when we worked there.
I like good calamari is very good.
Yeah.
I like oysters.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a clam, and I know there is a difference.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, I know I've definitely had oysters. I don't know if I had a clam.
Have you had raw oysters or cooked oyster?
It was in the shell. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, you could take that shell and
It was very slimy. Does that mean it was...
it was raw.
Okay.
It was raw.
Very slimy. Like
Yeah.
it whoop, it just went down.
It's so good, dude.
It is not bad.
I love them.
You put the tartar sauce or whatever?
Lemon, hot sauce, and sometimes a little horseradish. You can put in there.
Yeah, everything you said was wrong.
Spicy and lemony and.
Yeah.
There's this cool new bar. I can't remember the name of it in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. It's off of Jackson Square, like right on that strip on Jackson Square.
Yeah, Son of Jack.
By the park, by Louis Armstrong Park. Anyway, we go in there. It's this quaint little place, and good drinks. Bartenders were always really nice. Mm-hmm. Me and Katie spent many hours in this place. But they give you a menu of different types of oysters.
Okay.
And it gives you here's where they're from, this is what it'll taste like,
Really?
So you could, I'll take one of those, 3 of those. It was fantastic.
I would love to go to that.
Well, first of all, we need to go back to New Orleans.
I remember 3-4 years ago-ish, I was with my friend Madeline, and she, out of the blue, invited me to go to downtown. I'm like, why downtown? I don't know about you, but I've always... As being raised and born in Chicago, I never want to go to downtown.
No.
As a tourist thing. Either you have the money to enjoy it, or you're a tourist.
Going downtown,
right?
Man. Working downtown was the worst.
It was the worst.
You worked downtown.
Yes.
Katie liked working down. When she worked down there, she liked working.
She must have a nice job because most of us don't. And anyway, and she was like, "Why don't?" I'm like, "All right, why?" Like she's surprised. She just had this weird day. She did a big, me day for herself, and she got a fancy room in one of the hotels.
Nice.
And we went out to this, must be one of the fanciest restaurants I've ever been to, right in the middle of downtown.
Nice.
I forgot the name of it, but it was on a 7th floor. It was very dark. It was hidden too because it was above a club. It was very strange to get there because it didn't look like a restaurant. And then we sat down with all this, it was all seafood. And that's when I had all the mussels and the oyster and all that. Was the last time I had them. Huh. So it was really nice.
Well, then next time we go to New Orleans, we're doing oysters, man.
I really would like to.
At that bar, as long as it's still open.
Right.
A lot of things lately have been
That's true.
Closing, and we haven't gone in, I think it's 2 years because it's been nothing but construction. Down Bourbon Street, down Royal Street, things are closed. Businesses are suffering and closing, so we didn't go. But I think from what I've been reading is the construction is kind of starting to come to an end.
Okay.
So we really, 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 really want to go. But we have this big trip in July, so I don't know if I could squeeze it in this year. Right now, I'm fucking starving. I could eat a dozen fucking Taco Bell.
Oh,
I could have 3 McDonald's breakfasts.
Do you want to go get some Taco Bell after this? I did bring something in my bag.
What did you bring?
I forgot.
What the fuck is in there? Fucking turkey? What are you doing? Is it hot? Does it need to be microwaved? We gotta cook this thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring out our
fry it?
No, I brought cookies.
There's 4 cookies.
Do you want 2 of them?
You're like a kid at lunchtime, dude.
So
I brought cookies.
So I'm not immune to sugary things. I like candy, I like chocolate, I like cookies, I like chips. But I ration them out for a day max is what
that's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it is. So do you want?
No, thank you. No,
I forgot they existed.
Because for me, and that's the problem with me, is junk food. Mm-hmm. Not only sweets or salty snacks, but pizza or pasta. You know, a taste leads to a bowl.
Yeah, I get it.
One piece of pizza leads to.
No,
8,
I'm usually pretty good about not overdoing it.
Yeah, I just can't even have it in the house.
Oh no, I'm like an asshole in my fucking kitchen rationing things. Fucking, I have a mixer, to mix drinks with, and a kit, and it comes with the 2-ounce thing.
The jigger.
For sure. Thank you, the jigger, and it has a 1 ounce at the bottom. And I use the 2 ounce to measure how much cream I put in my coffee, because I can't have too many, but I need to have it enough where it's tasty still, and I gotta keep it accurate.
That's good.
Because
it's not a bad thing,
right?
It's not a bad thing.
Someday, a fucking.
See, I'm not like that. I don't do. I should. I don't. Mm-hmm. I just don't have it in me to measure and count and all these things. Mm-hmm. I just eliminate. We're just not doing it no more. This is now out of my life.
How does your family think about that? Are they allowed to have stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it makes it harder for me if I'm eating, because I eat a lot of fish and salad during the week. Salmon, orange roughy, and then there's these great salad kits that Katie gets for me.
I love the salad
You know what I'm
kit
talking
stuff.
about? Yeah.
Oh my God.
You open it up, there's a salad, then there's an extra pack in there with, it'd have your...
What do you use, the Taylor one? What's your brand?
something fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know.
But it'll have, like your cheese will be in there. Your, little croutons will be in there.
That's my breakfast. You're describing my breakfast. I open with a salad.
That's your breakfast? Wow.
I open with a salad.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Sometimes oatmeal if I run out, but
Oatmeal every morning with fruit, with banana.
oh wow, I just eat it plain.
Yeah, so mine are, do you have flavored oatmeals or
No,
unflavored, right?
I never
Yeah.
tried them. I should have tried them.
Yeah, these are the rolled oats, which are supposed to be good for you. So rolled oats, I put a little bit of salt. I put vanilla extract, which has nothing in it, no sugar, no anything, no calories. Vanilla extract, cinnamon, almond milk, a cup of almond milk, that I measure. And half a cup of the oatmeal, and then I do fresh bananas, blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries.
Oh wow, that's a heavy. That's an oatmeal.
Chop all that shit up. And
That's
put
an
it in
actual
there. I
oatmeal.
have
Nah,
that
I mean it's just
every morning.
salt, a little bit of salt, regular milk, 2%, oats,
Yeah.
a little bit of sugar, like half a spoon of sugar. That's
Oh,
it.
you do put a little sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do the fruit
And that's
for the
it.
sugar.
That's it. I haven't done it. I should play with it though.
Yeah, I mean,
I never do. I know.
I'm like vanilla extract and a little almond or a little almond extract in there with the almond milk. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
So like the fish, those omega fats are supposed to be really good for you. And they say it's good for your brain too. Helps with cholesterol.
I haven't seen any evidence of that.
That's what doctors say. God, why do I deal with this?